Commissioner De La Cruz, welcome to Business and Politics. Thank you very much for making time. I know you're very busy because climate change is such a big topic, and it's in the center of discussions in our policymaking work in the Philippines.
Yes.
Commissioner, I noticed that the main aim of the Commission is to mainstream climate change. What does it mean po when you say mainstream climate change? What would you like to see, I guess, from the people and from policies?
Yes, sir. First, allow me to express my gratitude for this opportunity. And as what we're doing now is we're trying to mainstream. But by mainstreaming, we have to laymanize the so-called climate language.
Okay.
Because when we talk of climate change, as if it's an issue for policymaker, for scientists, for international policy makers like the UN. That's the way they look at it, or for professors perhaps. But really, the climate change is for everybody. That's why we're looking forward for the so-called whole of nation approach.
Okay.
Specifically, the vulnerable sectors like the fisher folks, the agricultural sectors, the farmers, including our jeepney drivers. When we talk of laymanizing the climate language, supposed to be, we will be able to visit each and every home, each and every family home. For example, if I may explain it in the vernacular, when we talk of climate change, always remember ang kwento ng palaka.
Okay.
Ang palaka, kapag niluto mo yan, nilagay mo kaagad sa kumukulong tubig, maglalapasag yan. Baka tumalon pa yan.
Right.
Pero kapag yan ay niluto mo, hindi mainit kaagad, nilagay mo sa tubig, baka magsuswimming pa yan. Pagkatapos pag iniinit mo unti-unti, hindi niya mapapansin. Hanggang killing me softly, namatay na siya. And that's what we call maladaptation. That we don't want to happen to our people.
Right.
Kasi baka masanay sa mali, akala nila hindi na normal, normal pa rin.
Right.
Ano po itong mga to? Hindi po normal. It's not normal for our students to be studying in a school that is denuded by water. That's not normal.
Okay.
It's not normal for our people to have a market that's also denuded with water. It's not normal for us to have a lot of the so-called public diseases caused by climate change. So we're calling the attention of everybody that there's something going on. And this is already going on also. It's a global issue, but according to the World Index, by this 2022 World Risk Index, our country is considered to be the #1 vulnerable country all over the world. So the vulnerable sectors should be given the ample warning. They have to be reminded, and they have to be fully educated.
Right. I think, Commissioner, last time we had a chance to talk was
sir.
after the SONA. I think
Yes, sir.
you were reacting to the SONA, the first State of the Nation address of President Marcos. You put it quite interestingly, and your term was may lagnat. Parang if there's
Yes,
parang
sir.
may lagnat
Yeah.
yung mundo. But what does it mean now pag may lagnat yung mundo?
Opo.
What does it mean to the jeepney drivers, to the ordinary people? What are the consequences to them?
Yeah, the impact to the vulnerable sectors, or what
Okay.
we call ordinary people, the impact is much higher and greater.
Okay.
For example, for the jeepney drivers, we have abnormal climate situations.
Okay.
The climate cannot be predicted.
Okay.
So their livelihood will be affected.
Okay.
If the street is denuded, flooded with water,
Right.
they don't have livelihood.
Right.
So on and so forth. Secondly, we will be having a just transition. This e-vehicle supposed to be, we need to modernize. So the impact really is on them. That's why we have what we call just transition from fossil-based fuel vehicle. We have now our Congress, and we're very thankful with the Congress, and it's now on the policy implementation formulations, and we're looking forward that within the year or early next year it will be released for the implementing guidelines for the e-vehicles.
Yes.
So the sector, the jeepney drivers will be directly affected, but there is what we call a prosperity plan. Even if there is a problem, our government and your commission, together with of course, under the leadership of President Bongbong Marcos, who is our chairman, the chairman of climate change is our president, and he appointed alternate chairman, none other than the Secretary of the NR, Secretary Yulo. So we're looking for a holistic approach. So there will be what we call a transition year, that this old vehicle will be converted into new e-vehicles. So also with regards to our indigenous, not only the indigenous sectors, they're also vulnerable because their farming is only dependent on the rainwater.
Okay.
Now, we need to adopt some measures that will be able to, no one left behind with regards to these transitions. And because of this, during the COP27, we cry for climate justice. And fortunately, it's also part of the agenda. Now, in order for us to be ready with these transitions, we need to be ready with regards to policy, we need to be ready with regards to the effective communication channel, and we have to be ready with regards to the LGUs, who are considered to be frontliners. So really, it's a whole of nation approach intended primarily to look into the welfare of our vulnerable sectors. How? It's so timely that our president he picked the Department of Agriculture, the food security, because the nexus of this problem, the nexus for the just transition, the nexus for adaptation is food and water.
Okay.
Food and water. We're always saying that perhaps...
So basic.
Yeah, this basic. Perhaps our people will be having a much comfort zone if they have food and water rather than if they have new roads and bridges.
Okay.
So we have to look into the build,
okay,
as aptly put up by our president, should be focused on the build by means of building all these farm to market road with the agricultural sectors. The build will be focused on the irrigation system, so on and so forth. Because according to the IPCC report, the Interparliamentary, this is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is considered to be the science body of the UN framework on climate change, there will be food shortage by 2030 and there will be famine by 2050.
Wow.
That is why we need to be ready.
Wow. So, would it be correct to siguro summarize that or encapsulate that to say that climate change is about hunger, livelihood, poverty? Would that be a correct way to look at it? So maybe just the ordinary guy can appreciate the concept of climate change.
Climate change is about life.
Or is that incomplete somehow?
Yeah, climate change is about life.
Okay. So survival, really.
It's a survival of this, of the people in the planet.
Okay.
It's the survival of the planet itself.
Right.
That's why the clamor, we need to have what we call the 1.5 degree before the end of century. It should not be. It should
higher than that.
Higher than that. Or else.
You say may lagnat, no?
May lagnat, magkukumbulsyon, so to speak. So we still have a very, very thin opportunity. How? We have to reverse the situation by means of planting trees.
Right.
And then number two, we need to stop logging.
Okay.
It has to be a total ban on logging. Number three, there should be no intrusive way of extracting minerals.
Okay.
And other resources. And then we have to look into renewable energy.
Okay.
And then all ordinary people, whole of nation approach should also collaborate and integrate. How? For example, the nature is also in a way is also teaching us on how to become healthy. For example, for me, I am overweight. If I need to go 3 or 4 blocks or even 5 blocks, 1 kilometer away, hindi masyadong mainit ang araw, perhaps I can walk. Or we need to make use of what we call non-motorized vehicle. That's why it's good we already have the green lane. So on and so forth. If you eat, we do have a lot of buffet. if you'll get your food, see to it that you eat everything. Because the food waste will go to the landfill. The landfill will be, again, emitting methane. And this methane is the bad boy of the greenhouse gases. It's considered to be multiplied by 10 by carbon dioxide. And 1 square meter of landfill is equivalent to 25 fuming vehicles. So we need to have a transitions from landfill. We need to make use of the what we call new technology. But when we talk of new technology, we have to be also specific. This technology should be nature-based.
Okay.
What is this? We need to copy what the nature is doing.
Okay.
We can perhaps have it at a much lesser time, meaning much rapid, but it has to be copied the way nature is doing. Meaning there should be no direct burning, there should be no incineration.
Right.
And that's why as the portfolio holder for technology, I was invited by the committee in Congress for the public hearing with regards to the transition from landfill to waste to energy. The information that we gave to them is, number one, there is already existing waste to energy in the Philippines, but in a form of biomass. We have in Cagayan, we have in Isabela, we also have one in Bulacan using rice husk, corn husk, etc. We can make also use of this coconut husk. These are the agricultural biomass. So we already have this technology. What we don't want, based on science, is we will be using the municipal waste, like plastic, to be burned as fuel for the steam engine to be run by this municipal waste. Because of the provisions in the Clean Air Act, which is the Section 20, wherein there is furans and dioxin. And furans and dioxin, it cannot be smelled, it cannot be seen. It's so hard to detect it, but it's very carcinogenic.
I see.
Now, for the ENB and DNR, there is already these two kinds of technology that are already existing. These are the biomethanation plant and what we call the thermolysis or pyrolysis plant. I am mentioning biomethanation plant because we do have a lot of problem now. When we park sa mga condominium, sometimes we smell something, and there is one problem way back 10 years ago here in Makati. There was an explosion because of this methane.
Gas leak,
Methane, the methane caused by the septic tank. So we're mentioning this because we want the septic tank to be re-engineered. And we want all this methane to be used, including ito pong sa mga estero natin. When we smell something foul and then masakit sa mata, that's methane. Because methane cannot be seen through naked eye, but you can smell it and you can feel it. And methane is one of the GHG. It's the bad boy na tinatawag for the greenhouse gases. Why we're mentioning this? We're mentioning this because we're all included in the problem, and we have to be part of the solution of this problem.
So it seems a bit overwhelming because you laid out so many things. But Commissioner, if you don't mind, we'll take a quick break. This is Business and Politics. We'll be right back with Climate Change Commissioner De La Cruz.
Thank you, sir.